Well, hello, everyone. This is Lynn Hamilton, your lead instructor. We'll be starting in just a moment, so stay tuned. We'll get ready in a minute. My recording in progress. So there you go, everyone. This is Lynn Hamilton, your lead instructor here at Sampson Properties, along with my little cardinal friend sitting over my shoulder, to bring you this session of Master Your Marketing. So I am thrilled that you are here today, and we're going to walk right through this. When I post this on my Listen and Learn channel, I will also post the handout that goes with this, that is the planning and tracking for your seminar. I need to change it from home buyers to sellers, but I will do that and get it posted up for quick reference for you as well, for those that are wanting to take a deep dive into potentially doing these. So if in your Jumpstart session 4, you determined that one of the pillars you wanted to go after was sellers, I'm going to ask, did you realize that you have the ability to do a seller's seminar or workshop, whatever you want to call it, just as easily as you can do a first time or a home buyer's workshop? Same exact benefit, all kinds of other, perks that go with it as well. So we're going to talk specifically today about doing a seller seminar. You can break it down into doing a move down or downsizing topic. Your possibilities, gang, are endless. And even if you do, and I'm going to say one a quarter, it can be supplemented with a recorded segment out of a free Zoom account. It can be downloaded. This is what I do for our Thursday classes here. Nothing fancy smancy, no fancy lighting, no, bells and whistles. I record straight from my computer in Zoom. Once I'm done, I download it. I rename it so I know what it is. If not, it's just a bunch of numbers that don't mean anything to me. I add it to my YouTube channel, which is connected to one of my free Gmail accounts, which is one of the tabs that you can do. And then when I save it, I mark it as public. Then you can take the link and you can put it on your website, which is exactly what I do for these listen and learn sessions. So you can do the same thing. And if you're ready to tackle that one, I'm ready to help and tackle it with you. In fact, it's on my radar to record a step-by-step of how to do this. So again, it is not that difficult. So let's take the same concept of a home buyer's seminar or workshop, and let's tweak it to a seller's seminar. Obviously, one of the first things you're going to do is decide that you're going to do it. That's the first step. I will provide you a bullet point list of potential topics or questions that you can ask, which activates the, do I have that problem? Now, let me pause for a second. When we're talking about the home buyer seminar, which again, we've done before, I have in here a whole list of taglines, we'll call it, that you can use. Now, what is a tagline? This is Marketing 101. The tagline and the purpose of the tagline is to make a statement or ask a question that the person that is reading it will go, yeah, I'm experiencing that. Or, yeah, that's me. That is what a marketing tagline is. Is it reaching out and grabbing or picking upside the head or tapping upside the head the person that's reading it to connect to it? So let me give you a couple examples from the buyer side while we think about the seller side. So on the buyer side, one of the taglines we would recommend is, and again, it's going to someone who's renting, are you tired of paying your landlord's mortgage? Did you know that you're paying a mortgage, just not your own? Okay, so do you see where that sentence slash question is tapping into or tapping on the buyer to go, huh, my landlord didn't thank me for paying their mortgage. Or, yeah, I am tired of paying somebody else's mortgage. Maybe I should think about getting mine. So, change hats. You would take a moment or run it through Chat GPT to kind of get some ideas of what you can use as a tagline, question, pain point that would tie into your target market, your target, the bullseye target part of it. So if, let's say, you were wanting to work with seniors, a great tagline might be, so do you still love your house, but your knees are starting to hate the stairs? You've just identified a problem, a pain point that the group that you're going after may experience. So if you are going to be doing, I'm going to say geo farming for specific bullseye, you would be looking for homes in a particular area, you choose. They've been there, I'm going to say 10 years or longer, and it's a 2 or 3 story house. If you're going just generic by square footage, a tagline might be, especially if there's acreage, so you tired of mowing the yard? Or are you tired of paying someone for mowing the yard? Because again, if they've got a big yard and they've been there for 10 or 15 years or longer, it tells you their age bracket is starting to creep up. That may be a pain point for them. So that's marketing 101, how to identify or create a tagline that will grab the attention of your specific bullseye market that you're trying to get their attention to. There you go. All right. So once you have identified some taglines, the next thing you will do is you will ask yourself, when do I want to do the seller's seminar? Do I want to do it Thursday mornings from 10 to 11? Because if they're retired, they're not working, they may be available. I'll give it a whirl. Do I want to do it 5:30 to 6:30? Do I want to do it from 6 to 7? Do I want to do it on a weekend? Don't do them on Sundays. When do I want to give it a whirl? When do I want to do this? Obviously, the day of the week, the time, and then the question you would then ask yourself is, where am I going to hold this? Now, you can do it at your Samson offices, provided you have a conference room available, provided you have checked availability of the conference room or the training room, that it's not being used by anybody else. And let me ask you the question, do you know where and how to do that? Give me a yes, give me a no. Do you know how to do that? I'm getting some no's. Okay. All right. So let me show you or tell you real quick where you can get that information. When you go into Cardinal Nest, on your picture will be there on the right-hand side. Right next to it should say quick links. That drop-down box is going to take you down. It's under Samson University. It's SKEDDA, SKEDDA. SKEDDA. When you click on that, if you have never used it before, you will need to set up an account for a first-time user. All it is asking is for your name, your phone number, and your email address. After it is set up, you can just log in after you have an account. Click on log in after you have an account. for the second, third, fourth time, then it will bring you up all the offices and all the training rooms, meeting rooms, conference rooms that are available at that particular office. And that is where you would reserve the space to make sure that nobody else has booked it. Now, why do I recommend that? Can you even begin to imagine? Yes, it has happened where two agents decided to do two unrelated events. They didn't bother to check or reserve the space and get there expecting to have, oh, the training room or the conference room available, only to find out that somebody else has booked it. Well, shame on you. So make sure if you're going to use a Samson office that you, in fact, reserve the spot that you are needing. You can also talk to the admin if you need to find out if it's another location, how many it holds, but if it's your home base office, you should know. Now, with that being said, you also need to take into consideration if it is after hours or on a weekend, do you still have access to the building or the office or the suite after hours? Some get locked up at 5 o'clock. Some get locked up at 6. Some get locked up over the weekend. You need to know, do you have access to the building, to the suite, and to the office? Again, don't ask how I know this, that it's happened. Just trust me. Okay, so you got that in place. The next thing you're going to ask yourself is, do I need a vendor at my seminar? Now, who would a potential vendor be on a seller's seminar? A vendor might be your home inspector. Because again, they may be able to give a couple of basic tips on things the homeowner needs to look at and look for prior to listing the home. Because again, if a home inspection is going to be done, it's going to show up. So is it better to find out about it ahead of time so we can get fixed or resolved? In my opinion, absolutely. You may or may not necessarily need a lender there, because if you're not sure if they're going to be buying again, that's a possibility though. Home warranty is one that we typically would recommend you have on the buyer's side, but on the seller side, maybe not. They may already have a home warranty, but again, if you've got a home warranty rep that you can ask to come in, and give a couple of quick minutes, that's not a bad thing, because don't forget, when you list a property, the moment you put it into SkySlope, here at Samson Properties, we, the company, will attach a listing warranty through 210 home warranty. I would recommend, if you're doing a seller seminar, that you invite the 210 rep to come in, because they can help sell your value by knowing that when you list with Samson, we will automatically put in during the listing period coverage. Now, make sure that you have already talked to that rep, which you should be all doing anyway, and know exactly what is covered and what is not covered during the listing period. Now, there is an upgrade. I believe it's $50 that will cover the HVAC unit during the listing period as well. If I was still an active agent, I would cover that every time, all the time. Just my personal. I would ask my seller, is it okay? Would you be okay with me offering to cover the fee for the upgrade to cover your HVAC unit during the listing period? Always ask, and ask in that manner. Would you be okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if, accept my gift, I would be willing to, and would like to offer to cover the upgrade which will cover the HVAC unit during the listing period. Would you accept that? Oh, yeah, it's $50. I would do it till the cows jumped home. So, absolutely. Now, who else could you potentially invite to a seller's? You could invite a moving company. There are several that are key vendors for Samson. Look them up. You absolutely could invite them. And if nothing else, you can have, if they can't attend, they could potentially provide you with handouts or information to include in your packet, to include in your presentation. Because if they're going to sell, that means they're going to need to move. Duh. So by having a resource available as a suggestion of someone that they can consider, because you never tell them they have to use them. It is just a resource that I have for someone to consider. And I always made sure, either in consultations or in any of these workshops I ever did, I always reminded them, the client, potential client, that any of the recommendations of vendors, I had no skin in the game. They didn't pay me. I didn't pay them, which, by the way, is illegal. But I would let the consumer know that the reason that I am comfortable recommending this vendor is I have worked with them before, and they will provide the level of service I expect in dealing with my clients. And therefore, that is why I can comfortably recommend them. They have dealt with other clients of mine. They've dealt with me personally, whatever it is. But you make it crystal clear. The reason you are recommending them is because that vendor will perform at the level you expect for your clientele, and that there's no skin in the game. I don't pay them. They don't pay me, which, by the way, is illegal. And I do tell them exactly that. Okay. So there, you've overcome that objection before it ever came out of any of their mouths. So who else might be a good option in a seller? If they are seniors or they're getting in that age bracket, actually having an attorney is not a bad idea. The attorney would need to know they're not getting paid, but the hope and the intent is that they can take a few minutes to explain the benefits of a trust or a will, making sure that that seller has the legal documents in place to protect them down the road. That is, again, a whole other conversation, which we can have at a later time. But that would be a good resource. Now, I do know there are quite a few agents that do these senior seller workshops. They often will target a 55 and older community. And yes, they do have the attorney there to help educate the consumer on how the business of real estate works and what happens if the time comes that there is no will or trust in place, and the consequences of that as a homeowner to their executor trustee / next of kin. Okay. All right. So the next piece of the puzzle that you would put into place is, who do you want to be your target audience? And how would you identify where that target audience would come from? Obviously, you would go to your SOI, your sphere of influence, and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know, backed by popular demand, I'm going to be doing my quarterly, monthly, however you want to do it, quarterly, it's fine on these, my quarterly sellers seminar. If by any fluke you are even thinking of any time in the next year or so that you might be considering to sell, this may give you some great tips ahead of time to get prepared. Okay. Would you like an invitation to come? Yes or no? You're going to find out. But here's the takeaway. They now know that this is something that you are doing. So they may be thinking, no, not me, but they may be thinking of somebody else. Gang, your database is never just who you know. Your database should be a ripple out effect of you know them, but who do they know? Who do they know? That's how you need to think about it. Now, the next thing is obviously your SOI. You can invite them, but you can also say, is there anyone that comes to mind that might want to come get some basic tips? There you go. There you go. Okay. Next step would be, obviously you would want to once you've got your date and everything within, the next, let's say it's going to be in 4 to 6 weeks, you would update your voicemail. You would update your email signature. You would start promoting it on your social media. Because again, someone on your social media may have parents or grandparents that may be considering or projecting that they may need to have a move down the road. That's why. You would also look at, I think we mentioned a geo farm. Do you want to email to them? Now, okay, let me correct that statement. If it is a geo farm, you typically will not have access to emails. You will not have access to phone numbers, but you will be able to do postcards. So if you're going to do postcards to a geo farm that meet the criteria of your target that you're going after, I would do it twice before the date of your event. I would do a save the date. It's coming. Here's the next 2 or 3 dates. And then I would do a reminder. I didn't want you to miss it or forget about this, but about a 10-day, 2-week reminder ahead of time. Now, when those postcards are created to go out, you can even offer a little PS on there to bring the postcard with them for drawings for some free gifts. Again, it will keep them to hang on to it, post it on the refrigerator, and hopefully not forget. Okay. Just some ideas there. That group, if they are, let's say, seniors, may or may not be active on social media, but you still want to tap into your social media because, again, their kids, their grandkids, their cousins, their aunts and uncles, or whatever, relatives, friends may catch it and relay the information. If it is, oh, wait, pause. I forgot something. When we're talking about where you're going to hold it, yes, the office is one option. The library is another option. If there are any YMCAs, community centers, that type of place around the footprint of where you're wanting to target, you find out if they're available. I know libraries will often have rooms or places you can use. There may or may not be any charge to it, but when it's at the library and they'll post flyers and stuff about it, you do have to allow anyone who has seen the flyer or comes into the library that day that decides, "Ooh, I'd like to sit in on this." You do need to allow them to participate. You cannot block them from participating. So again, this is a great opportunity to find out where your community is at. You can also go to a 55 and over community, even if you're not living there, and ask that you would love to be able to do a couple of informative sellers workshops or homeowners workshops in case you just want to be able to provide information of things to get ready for. And again, and see if they will allow that. So again, those are options on where you can actually hold the event. All right. Sometimes you can use a restaurant if they have a back room. Sometimes they will allow you to use it at a minimal charge. Sometimes they will allow you to, again, for a certain fee, they would bring in, I'm going to say pastries or Danish and a coffee. If it's at a restaurant, some of the buffet type restaurants often have side rooms that are for meetings or for, small events and activities. Again, you got to kind of check around your footprint and find out what is available in your area. Okay. We've already talked about the postcards of how you're going to be getting the word out. So there you go. All right. The next component is, do you want them to RSVP, and how and where do you want them to RSVP? Now, you can instruct them to text you, to call you, to email you, or you can even set up a QR code using QR Code Monkey to create a QR code, or which gives them a link in which to RSVP. And again, where is that QR code going to take them to RSVP? Now, you can also do a survey using your Gmail, Google account. One of the bonus features you have besides just your email and your calendar and is the ability to create forms. You can do a basic form to RSVP for the event. And I got to tell you a secret. Once you learn how quick and easy and fun it is to create a form, you have just unleashed a monster, because you start thinking about all the cool ways you could create a form to get feedback and engage with anything from blog posts to you name it. So do not overlook that as an option. If you've never done it and need help, let me know. I know that I recorded a how-to, and I'll make sure that I forward that to you and point you in the right direction to get it. But again, once you start, it is way too much fun and is too friggin' easy to do. All right. So now you've determined how and where you want them to RSVP. The next thing you will take a look at is, what are you going to hand out to them as a handout when they come to the event? Obviously, a cute front cover. And oh, by the way, since our marketing department is currently finishing the buyer home buyer seminar handout, they're going to work on the seller's handout as well. Again, it's just basically the kind of the agenda of what they're going to be covering, so they know. Your D's, S, and C's absolutely need to see an agenda. You're going to start on time and stop on time. You are offering this information session for 1 hour and 1 hour only. That includes Q&A. You are not doing a full seller consultation during this workshop. That is not the purpose of it. The purpose is to sell yourself a little bit and give them some great ideas for those that need to sell. All right. With that may include tips on packing up. But you know what? You don't start there. You start with, so do you have family treasures that tells your life story that you're just not ready to get rid of yet? What are the things that you can do to help them through that process as well? So that would be one thing you could take a few minutes to discuss. Tips on packing would be another one. And that would include color coding boxes with all the pretty designs and colors that are available in duct tape. If you have never been to the hardware department of your favorite store and have seen the mass array of pretty colors and patterns of duct tape, oh my God, you are missing it. Next time you go to the store, go check it out, whether it be Lowe's or Home Depot. Walmart's got a decent one as well. They all have, even your dollar stores, have this whole array of color and pattern duct tape. The greatest tip I ever learned when we moved from California to Virginia was to take a different colored duct tape to tape the final tape on every box. Yes, we use the cheap, not the cheap, they got expensive, clear tape to seal it up. But then I would put an accent piece across the top as an extra secured in either the color or the pattern that was done by room. My movers loved me because when it got 3,000 miles across country and I stood at the door playing bingo with the boxes, and they could tell exactly what room it went in as they were pulling the stuff off the truck. They could stack it by color, coordinating the tape, because they could haul up 4 or 5 boxes at a time. And they have their little hoists and straps. Then when you come in, who's ever moved and had to play bingo with the boxes? Do you know what I mean by that? Okay, I'm getting a yes, I'm getting a no. Okay, when you have a mover, they put a sticker on the box. It's, B100, B101, B102, and every box and every item gets a sticker on it. When you arrive at your destination, they give you the sheet, and literally you're playing bingo. So for every box that comes in and every item that comes in, they are either calling out or you are double checking the number and you're checking it off on your sheet. That's bingo. Okay. The goal is when the last item comes in, everything on the checklist has been bingoed off. And 10 years later, I will still occasionally find a box or a tote in the garage that's got that red sticker on it or the yellow sticker on it. Color didn't make a difference. It was just when they ran out of one color, they went to the other color. It's funny. All right. So those are tips that you can share at a seller seminar. Another thing that is excellent to have is who are the local, not only the local donation options, Goodwill, AMVETS, the local animal shelter, because animal shelters are always looking for towels, blankets, sheets, stuff that you would either just pitch or get rid of. They love them. So find out who your local is within your footprint. And so as they start preparing ahead of time, give them resources. You're the go-to source. You want to be the expert. You want to be the go-to source. Do your homework ahead of time. Know where the options are around the footprint that you're going to be working. Is there a home for the disabled that are still able to live independently or in a group house that may need items? Look into your area, know who's out there. Again, you're not telling them to take it there. You're telling them these are options. These are ideas for you. Another great one that is wonderful to be shared is share the idea with them that they can get a digital picture frame. Now, I know of agents who, when they were working with attorneys, especially for estate liquidation or anything else, they would buy that senior a digital picture frame. They would help take photos of stuff around the house that now has to be liquidated or moved into somebody else's home to be able to love on it. How that works is, let's say you've got grandma's, great grandma's, dinnerware. They can't take it with them, but they don't want to lose the memory of it. Set up a nice little grouping on the dining room table, take a picture of it, add that picture to the digital picture frame. There you go. I know agents that are doing that, and the people are loving it. I know that an agent who does these senior move down seminars will buy one digital picture frame, and that is the drawing at the event, and she'll give it away. Okay, just an idea. You got to look at your own budget and know what works and what doesn't. Okay, so with that, you create the agenda of the topics that you want to cover. What is going to be important to them? How can they start a year, 9 months, 6 months out, 3 months out? Break it down into bullet points of 12 months out, 9 months out, 6 months out, and 3 months out. Studies have shown that people will often start downsizing 3, 6, 9, 12 months prior to ever listing the property. You are just cutting in and getting ahead of the line to help them with the process. Okay. All right. So you've gone through the variables. You've gone through the importance of offering a home warranty during the coverage period. That's one of the perks that you offer. If you decide that the time comes that you need to sell your property, and if you choose to select me, or more important, allow me to come in for an interview. I would love the opportunity to interview for that position as the listing agent when the time is right, because I will share with you my marketing strategies, how we go about marketing, and how we walk through the process. Bam. You're planting that seed. You're not saying, so you're going to list right? No. When the opportunity is right, you want to be able to come in to interview for the position as the listing agent, because you love to be able to feature your 27-point customized marketing strategy and how you go about determining a list price based off the current market conditions and where the buyer pool is going to be at that would be potentially buying that house. That's your commercial. Okay. So you've got the event, you've got your brochure to hand out to them. If you have any vendors, they can put their business card in there as well. Nothing wrong with that. Basically, to this point, it has cost you very little. Now, you can, if you want, sell business card space, add in the back of the program, the handout, $25, $50, whatever. And that will just offset the cost a little bit of your postcards going out. Again, other than that, you shouldn't have a whole lot of expense into doing this other than time. You will give some thought into how you're going to present the handout. Is it going to be just stapled in the upper corner and photocopied? Nothing wrong with that. Are you going to put it in a Samson white folder that we use? Are you going to go buy some color 3-pronged folders or that go along with the branding of your color? Jumpstart session 1, by the way. Are you going to buy those plastic protectors with a little slide thing on the side? Is that how you want to present them over? Are you going to get them printed in our Samson print shop in the booklet format? So it's stapled in the middle. Looks impressive. Minimal cost to get those done. So those are all options for you as to how you're going to present the handout at the workshop. Then you're going to give some thought into refreshments. Now, again, you are not buying them a steak dinner. You are offering a 1 hour coffee and donuts, juice and donuts. You are offering a grab and go snack bag. Again, you do not need to have a massive meal layout, because here's the problem. If they don't come, you're out the money. I would much rather you go to whatever your favorite store is. You can buy the various Danish or muffins in the individually wrapped packages, which is always good for sanitation purposes. You can get the little things of juice, the little things of water, whatever, and have that available. If they want something, they take it. If they don't, they don't. If you have leftover, which you probably will, you just save it up and can use it for your next one. That is the smartest way to handle it. There you go. So you just have on your information is a light refreshment will be available. Okay. So you address that one. You hold the seminar, give them information, you stay on time, you monitor your time, you have a timekeeper if you need to. If any of your vendors are speaking, you be crystal clear with them how much time they are allotted. You either have a clock that they can see, or you have a little, a little battery operated clock where you put up on the podium or wherever they're speaking at where they can see. And you can also give the hand signals of 5 minutes and then wrap it up, which means you got 2 minutes, wind it down, because you want to respect their time, but you also want to respect the next speaker's time that you're not running over. And that was exactly what I used to tell the vendors. You each get 10 minutes and then a few minutes cushion for questions specifically after. But I'm going to, if we need to wrap it up, I'm going to say you wrap it off or cut it off, because we don't want somebody running into your time, but you don't want to be running into the next speaker's time either. It's professional, it is respectful, and you let them know specifically exactly what is going to be happening for the time crunch of it. Okay. So then after the event, now the tail end of the event, you will have them fill out a quick little survey. You're going to get some additional information from them, and that can be used for the drawing. That is how you get that. So you give them a moment to actually complete the survey, turn it in, and it's from that survey being turned in that you're going to be holding the drawing for various door prizes. Again, the door prizes can be, a $5 Starbucks card. It could be $5 from Wawa, or Sheetz, because they can get a drink, they can get a coffee, they can get a gallon of gas, whatever it is. Again, it does not have to be lavish expenses. You leave it open. Obviously, you thank them for coming, blah, 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 blah. You wind it down, let them know that you want to be the go-to source and that you are setting things up on your website so they can go look for free reports, moving tips, downsizing, downscaling tips, all that. It will be available. But that also gives you the information to do every 4 to 6 week mailer to them, handwritten in an envelope with a specific report. Now, if you find that they're digitally savvy, then they can go digitally to your website. If they're not digitally savvy, you mail them a handwritten envelope with a stamp on it that goes directly to their home. Trust me, there won't be so many of those that you can't afford to do that. In fact, I would encourage you that as soon as you can, go buy yourself a roll of stamps and have it sitting on your desk. That serves as a reminder that you need to be mailing handwritten notes or handwritten information out to a couple of people every week or every month. There is nothing more powerful than a handwritten something that comes in. Okay. And then it's just follow up from there. You're taking a large group and you're kind of scooting them through the funnel to see who is on the radar for moving over the next, I don't know, 6 months or a year or so. But just like anything else, they will not attend and go, oh, wow, this was really nice. I really like you. I think we're going to sell the house just so you can get a transaction and a commission. Gang, it does not work like that. What you are doing is hopefully getting in front of them, be top of mind, which is where the follow-up comes in. And so when the day comes that their home no longer meets your needs, you hope to be the go-to source and the opportunity to interview for the position of their listing agent so that you can feature and explain to them your marketing strategy and what the market is currently doing. Drop the mic. That is it. Okay. Hopefully this has given you some step-by-step. Again, I'm going to be revamping the handout and the checklist and the planning and tracking, all labeling it as the seller side or the seller seminars. You can call it whatever you want to call it. And again, it is a great opportunity for you to get the word out as to who you are and what you do to hopefully build out being the go-to source when the time comes that their home no longer meets their needs and they need to consider a sell. You have helped them, you have prepped them, and hopefully, like anything else, you become the go-to source for that. Okay? All right, let me go ahead and jump over to chat box, make sure there's no questions over there. And with that, my friends, that is it. It is not as complicated as it sounds. Frankly, for a seller one, I would do it. And again, you keep the same invitation list month after month, month after month. You can add to it as your budget allows. But, check with the print department to find out what it would cost to have printed and mailed 100, 200 postcards. Now, I know that the company tells you that there needs to be a bulk of 200 go out. But if your budget only allows for you to start with 100, you can still do it. What will happen is they will hold them until such time they've got another 100 or more that needs to go out. Then it can go to the post office. So it's not our regulations, it's the post office regulations. And as of yet, we don't control the post office. So that is where the question of the magic number of 200 comes in. To do the bulk mail, there needs to be 200. So keeping that in mind, if you're only doing 100, 150, 135, whatever the number is, know that our print center may need to hold it for a day or two until such time they've got another batch of similar size that's going out. Then they can bulk it out. Okay. All right. Hopefully that gives you some great information. If this is something you are wanting to follow up and do, shoot me an email and let me know. I will then kind of keep you on my radar, tucked underneath my wing a little bit to make sure that you get anything of reports or handouts or anything else as we develop them, and you get them first and you get to know about them first as well. All right. My friends, as always.
Just a quick question for you, Lynn.
Sure. Go ahead, Brandon.
Could you put your email in the chat? Because I don't believe I actually have your email.
I sure can. Let me stick it over there for you. Let me hit the right button first. My email is lhamilton at Samson, properties.net. There you go. And my website, if you need it, which is where some of the stuff will be housed, is lynnhamilton.samson, P-E-R-T-I-N, properties.net. So it's lynnhamilton.samsonproperties.net is my website. lhamilton@samsonproperties.net is my email address.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Great question. Thank you. So does anybody else have a question or comment before we wrap it up?
I have a question, Lynn. This is
Sure.
Carol.
They're high.
So it's on the geo farming. I
Mhm.
I sent out I used my welcome postcard for free to a group of geo farming that I'd been sort of lurking choosing, and so I made a commitment to them. But that happened like 6 weeks ago, so it's time for me to figure out what to do next. Now I have access to their names, so I can use their names in those addresses, correct? Not, I don't have an email or, but I can
Correct.
use the names. Okay.
Correct. Now, again, a note on geofarming, if you have not had a chance yet to go into Samson University, search geofarming
I
class
watched them.
and listen to it. So you
I,
know how to break it down to get homeowners,
yeah.
absentee
Yep.
owners, and
Right.
renters. Perfect. Okay.
There's 20 renters in my list, so I might move them to I said I only did the homeowners and they were 10 year plus. And so those are the ones that I picked. But I did have 20 in the list that maybe I can send this, I can make them a separate outreach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If they're renters, then the rent versus buy options. And
Hmm.
again, we've already got 4 postcards that are already designed that are sitting in Cardinal Nest for you to use for a homeowner, a renter, and an
Hmm.
absentee owner.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible. Now, if you're creative, know how to use Canva, and can crank one out, and you want to do something different,
Oh, yeah.
knock
No,
yourself
I
out. But
the
yeah,
the idea is for that geo farming commitment to let Samson do as much of the work as possible.
there you go. That's
All
my
right.
girl. That's my girl.
Thank
And
you.
again, the takeaway on all of this is quit going for the target, start going for the bullseye.
Okay.
Do not throw jello on the wall and hope it sticks. So that is marketing 101, gang. Again, I act like it's my money you're spending, but it's your money. But I want to make sure that if you're going to be investing money, you're investing it, not spending it. There's a difference. So, okay.
And excuse me, Lynn, one
Go
last
ahead.
question for the
Yeah.
geo farming, the
Mhm.
video. Where can I locate that?
Okay. For those that may be new to our Samson family, in Cardinal Nest,
Hmm.
there is a link in Quick Links or another place as well, but you can get it from Quick Links. It says Samson University.
Okay, right.
All, all, all video training that's been recorded is in Samson University for
Okay.
you.
Okay.
What they have done a couple years ago is they created my own channel as well. So when you go into Samson University, you can see everything, or you can scroll down a little bit and it'll say Lynn Hamilton's classes. You can also click there and get to it from there. Okay. But you can also just from Samson University, there's a search box. You can type in what you're looking for and it should populate up for you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for everyone to access what they need 24/7. Because, I may love you guys, but I ain't teaching you a class at midnight. Me and my dogs are sound asleep. So we want to have it available, because again, there's one of me and a couple hundred of you, or a couple thousand of you, and I don't even know how many offices we have now. So we try to record as much as possible. So for those that can't make it to a class or can't make it to that location or are working or have appointments or whatever, but they still want the knowledge, we've got it available for you as well. Okay. All right. Make sure that you have all gone through Jumpstart. And in our earlier session this afternoon, we just recorded out the learning trail. So if you are fairly new to Samson, I want you to understand and know about the learning trails, which is how and why we have developed what you take first, what you take next. Then what's the next class? What's the next class? What's the next class? Because frankly, I've been doing this for a long time and I am tired of seeing great people who have amazing potential running around like a chicken with their head cut off because the educational component is so vast, you don't know where to start.
Mhm.
We at Sampson are the only ones that I know of that have created the learning trails and have made it accessible. Where do you start? What do you do next?
Right.
Okay. Then what do you do next?
And that
Right.
specifically is on the university as well, right? This is like Learning Trail. Is that the name of that series, or?
Actually, in about 30 minutes, if you go to my website, the lynnhamilton.samsonproperties.net, to the Agent Resource Center, the drop down that says listen and learn. I just finished recording the last hour and just downloaded the new section I did on learning trails. I'm very pleased with how it came out. I'm going to go post that right now.
Mhm.
Cool.
So that will be up in a few minutes, and that will help you know what is your next step. What is your next step? What is your next step? But more important, you're going to understand why it needs to be your next step.
Sounds good.
There you go. And then I am more than happy to take the blame for your success. I love it when an agent comes to me and says, this is all your fault. I take the blame and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'll take the blame for you succeeding beyond any level of expectations or anticipation. All
Are you
right.
going to include this this session?
Yes, this will be
Well,
added. This will be added as well.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, my friends, go be wonderful, go be awesome. And remember, I don't care what you know. I want to know what you're doing
Right.
with what you know.
Amen.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me be part of your success journey in the real estate world and here at Sampson Properties. I am proud to be here. I am honored to be here. And I love watching the agents grow and develop their business into something that will withstand the test of time, that will withstand market shifts, that will withstand craziness in the world. And you just keep right on going and crying all the way to the bank and blaming me.
Thank
Okay,
you for your
then.
time.
Bye.
All
Appreciate
righty,
it.
my
Bye.
friends.
Appreciate
All
it.
right.
Bye.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. Talk to you soon. Okay. Bye-bye now.